Hi, and welcome to the letter S as in shocking, as in Schiaparelli. The only Italian designer who established her salon in Paris, became internationally famous between the two world wars, and broke the fashion codes with her eccentric, provocative, and surrealistic looks was Elsa Schiaparelli. Schiap, as she was nicknamed, left a deep mark in the history of fashion and became the style influencer for many daring designers such as Yves Saint Laurent, Moschino, and Jean-Paul Gaultier, thanks to her iconoclastic and pioneer vision. Elsa was born in Rome in 1890 and grew up in a family of intellectuals and aristocrats. Her father was a professor of Oriental literature. Her mother descended from the Medici family. Rebellious and creative, she soon craved independence and provocation. She was 21 when she penned a book of sensual poems that shocked her family, and she was also in her early 20s when she met in London the Count William de Vent de Kerlor, who she thought would be the man of her life. She became engaged to him within 24 hours and eventually married him despite the opposition of her family. After a brief stint in the south of France, Elsa ended up living in New York when in 1919 she gave birth to her only child, Gogo. In the Big Apple, she befriended with Gabrielle Picabia, the former wife of French modernist painter and poet Francis Picabia. And she soon introduced Elsa to her circle of artistic friends, which included Edward Stiglitz, Edward Steichen, and Marcel Duchamp. On a personal note, the marriage with William ended abruptly. He abandoned her soon after the birth of Gogo. In 1922, a single mother and penniless, Elsa decided to move to Paris with the help of Gabrielle Picabia, who owned a boutique and helped Schiap at the beginning of her career. Gabrielle was also instrumental in connecting Schiap to a group of Dada surrealist artists such as Man Ray, Tristan Tzara, and Jean Cocteau, who used to hang out in the bar cabaret Le Boeuf sous les Toits in the chic 8th arrondissement in Paris. In Paris also met the renowned and revolutionary couturier Paul Poiret, who in the 1910s liberated women from the slavery of corset and designed a new free silhouette. Thanks to Poiret's support, Schiap started her own business in 1926 and opened her first boutique in Rue de la Paix. She launched her first collection in 1927. The trompe-l'oeil sweaters became a must for the modern woman who, at that time, favored comfortable, practical clothes. Sporty outfits were also very high in demand, and Schiap, at the beginning of her career, designed suits for tennis, golf, and skiing. Elsa pour le Sport was the name that she chose for her gift. Her avant-garde divided skirts shocked everybody when the Spanish tennis player Lili de Alvarez wore it at the Wimbledon in 1931. Schiap was a true innovator. She used colored zippers in her sport collections and incorporated oversized decorative zipper in her evening dresses in 1935. She also experimented with a glassy fabric called Rodophan for a cape photographed here by André Darst for Harper's Bazaar. Last but not least, she invented the shocking pink color that soon became symbol of the brand and the title of her 1954 autobiography. The color flashed in front of my eyes, Schiaparelli wrote in her book. Bright, impossible, impudent, becoming, life-giving, like all the lights and the birds and the fish and the world put together, a color of China and Peru, but not of the West, a shocking color, pure and undiluted. In the early 30s, Schiap traveled in the US to promote her fashion. She soon became the favorite designers of Hollywood stars such as Katharine Hepburn, Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, and Joan Crawford. She gained such a huge success that she conquered, in 1934, the cover of Time magazine, the very first dedicated to a fashion designer. 4 years later, she designed the gowns for Mae West in the movie Every Day is a Holiday. And the Divas dummy would eventually inspire the bottle of Schiap's first fragrance, designed by the surreal artist Leonor Fini and named, guess what, Shocking. In 1935, Elsa moved her Paris atelier to 21 Place Vendôme, which was decorated by the genius modern designer Jean-Michel Franck, and became the destination of international ladies and socialites such as the Duchess of Windsor and Daisy Fellows. Schiap's increasing fame ignited a rivalry with the other grande dame de la couture, Coco Chanel, who used to dismiss her as the Italian artist who made clothes. Despite Coco's derogative comments, Elsa indeed became the very first designer who promoted the idea of wearable art, establishing engaging collaboration with her contemporary Dada and Surrealist artists. The most famous one was with Salvatore Dali. Dali's playful and sexy lobster telephone was the inspiration for the 1937 lobster dress, which became instantly famous when Wallis Simpson wore it in Vogue, photographed by Cecil Beaton. Other collaborations with Dali produced the 1937 shoe hat and the 1938 infamous skeleton dress with rib and hip bones created with padded cotton waddings. In difficult times, fashion is always outrageous, stated Schiap, and the concept is perfectly exemplified also by these suede and monkey boots inspired by Matisse, which Elsa designed in collaboration with the shoemaker André Pérugia. For the fall 1937 collection, Schiap asked her friend and sublime artist Jean Cocteau to make drawings which were reproduced in sumptuous embroideries by the Maison Lesage. In this evening coat, two confronting faces also make an urn filled with roses, while this evening jacket is graced with the profile of a woman holding an handkerchief, and please check her mane in gilded sequins on the sleeve. Maison Lesage created many extraordinary embroideries for Schiaparelli, such as the silk pink Phoebus cape and the velvet black one inspired by the Apollo fountain in Versailles. Both are part of Schiaparelli for Winter 38-39 astrological collection. Creating collection based on a specific theme was a leitmotif of Schiap's creativity. In addition to the aforementioned astrological collection, I would like to remember the amazing Spring 1938 Circus collection, revamped in 2016 by the designer Bertrand Guyon, and the joyous Fall 1939 music collection. In July 1940, Elsa left Paris for New York to give a series of conferences across the United States on the theme of clothes and the women. In Dallas, pictured here, she was the first European designer to receive the prestigious Neiman Marcus Award. She returned to Paris in 1945, and soon she hired the young Uberto Givenchy as the creative director of her boutique. But the world of couture was drastically changing, and new designers such as Dior were emerging, dictating new, fresh trends. Before closing her couture house in 1954, Elsa left her last whimsical mark in the Hollywood costume design history. John Huston's 1952 Moulin Rouge, starring Zsa Zsa Gabor, won the Best Costume Design Award at the Academy. The designer was Marcel Vertes, the famous illustrator and Schiap's friend and collaborator, and she was responsible for producing the outfits. Schiaparelli died in 1973. In 2006, the Italian businessman Diego Della Valle acquired Schiap's archives and rights in order to revamp the label. The new life of the brand starts in the year 2012 with the reopening of the couture house at 21 Place Vendôme in the original atelier. The salon has been revamped by the French designer Vincent Darré, whose surreal aesthetic perfectly evokes the artist Schiaparelli was close to. In the same years in New York, the Met's Costume Institute dedicated to Schiaparelli and Prada its annual exhibition. In July 2013, the first tribute to Elsa took form in a unique couture collection designed by Christian Lacroix. In 2013, Marco Zanini, formerly at Rocha, became creative director of the house. He launched his first haute couture collection in January 2014, but abruptly left in November of the same year. He was replaced by Bertrand Guyon, who signed the couture collections from fall 2015 up to spring 2019. He also launched the Pret-a-Porter line in September 2018. In April 2019, the Texan Daniel Roseberry, who previously worked at Thom Browne, was appointed creative director of the brand. he designs haute couture as well as pret-à-porter line. Roseberry has also revived the brand's playful and surreal spirit and even launched a couture jewelry line. Many celebrities favor Schiaparelli in these recent years, among them Lady Gaga, who, for the 2021 presidential inauguration in Washington, chose a red silk voluminous skirt and a cashmere navy blue jacket, embellished with a brooch of a dove holding an olive branch, echoing the famous Picasso's Dove of Peace. And also Beyoncé, who wore Schiap's haute couture to the 63rd Grammy Awards. At the Cannes Film Festival in July of the same year, Rosie de Palma showed up in this dramatic embroidery kaftan, while Maggie Gyllenhaal wore these two suits at the 2022 Oscars and at the Vanity Fair party afterwards. From July 2022 until January 2023, at the Musée des Arts Décoratifs in Paris is on view Shocking, the surreal world of Elsa Schiaparelli, a phantasmagoric retrospective of Elsa's most iconic outfits, along with collaborations with artists and the latest creations of Daniel Roseberry. Thanks for listening, and keep in mind what the legendary costume designer Edith Head said. Fashion is a language. Some know it, some learn it, like an instinct. Goodbye.